Hello viewers, Flash Motorsport here and welcome to Mid-Ohio. Now for this video I'm going to try out a different tyre strategy. Knowing that Mid-Ohio is very harsh on tyres, I know medium tyres, if I went for 2 sets, probably won't make it. So I've chosen for my first part of the race to go for hard tyres. So as we're coming over across the line, we did lose a couple of spaces due to the amount of wheel spin this car has coming off the line. You can see first corner shenanigans are plaguing the area. Lucky enough we don't get caught up with whatever that Ferrari was doing. And coming up through here, we are managing to keep up the pack in front. Although we are on hard tyres, this car is surprisingly grippy with hard tyres on. And I think it's probably on par grip-wise with the GT cars in front with medium tyres. Because some of the corners I was going through, I was noticing them understeering and I'm still cutting up through the inside. So I was quite surprised there. Backing off in this corner for the shenanigans going on. I'd rather keep on the track and keep my position in P4 than try and make a move and possibly getting failed by either contact or anything like that. I don't want to get a penalty or anything like that. I've had enough up to now. As we're coming through this corner, you're going to use the camera of the road to maximize the grip. As we plow up the hill, we're going to drop down into 4th gear, let the car coast round, dabbing the throttle now and again to keep the speed up. But I'm going to keep on the right and white line and try and maximize this corner now because I'm getting a little bit better at this. So as we're coming through here, go straight on through the section here. You see there's a little bit of clowniness going on with the Audi in front. I'm going to keep to my right hand side and take that position. Cutting through that corner because I don't know where the Audi's position was. I'd rather cut the corner and stay on the track than not knowing where they are and having bodily contact. Coming over the start and finish line, we're going to look for the curb on the left hand side, braking down to 4th gear. Let the car coast round until you see the pit exit and then start applying a bit of power, and as it opens up apply a bit more and more power. Just make sure you're feathering it so you don't get too much understeer. Letting off in this corner here because I'm still a bit dicey on this corner, and then accelerating flat out the other side. Along this section it's flat out all the way through. You are going to get a bit of lift in these cars, so you are going to start losing a little bit of traction, a little bit of wheel spin here and there. Coming over the bridge, the Lamborghini in front does some weird stuff going on. I have no idea, so I brake early and rather not get punted off the track as they rejoined quite aggressively. And again, I'm holding up the Audi behind, but it's not a problem because I know my stronger part is the latter part of this section where it's very twisty and cornery, and I'm going to be able to maximize the use of this car. Coming up the hill again, we're going to keep on tight on the left hand side, and then as we come into the right hand corner, dab into 4th gear and let the car coast round. Like I say, applying a little bit of throttle now and again just to keep the speed up and keeping as tight as you can. You can see in P1 position is another Audi, so I am not alone in this race for a change. We have a friend, but a friend is a little bit off track and I'm going to maximize that, catch up behind the Audi. Coming down this hill, I let off a little bit to let that Lamborghini in front have a bit of space. I can see with all the carnage that was going on, and I don't want to be drawn too close to that car. I want to have a nice clean overtake that I know I'm going to 100% make when I get past this car. Going around this corner again, taking it nice and tight, catching up to the cars in front and then accelerating out the other side, keeping right and then letting off the throttle as we go through in this corner now, and then applying some more power out the other side. With the beautiful run out of that corner we just had, we're going to overtake these 2 cars cleanly and elegantly. That's got to be worth hitting that like button, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good and Jeffrey Anderson. Thank you for being a channel member. Don't forget also to join the Discord, the link is in the description. As we come around this corner, braking down to 3rd gear and taking it as tight as you can, accelerating as early as possible and maximizing the track width and accelerating out the other side. You can see I do have the Audi TT quite close to me, but I think with these little bit of maneuvers are going to make, you see I'm pulling away from them now, and up the hill we go, keeping as tight as we can, going a little bit wide and then going off track. I went a little bit too early on the throttle, that's cost me 2 positions. So I've got to overtake this Audi again, and well actually both Audis now technically, but we're gonna oh my gosh, no, what's happening? Oh, we saved it. We're saving it. We're still saving it. Come on, don't give me a penalty. Don't give me a penalty. Don't give me a penalty. Oh, thank you, Forza Lords. Thank you, Forza Lords. Oh, I can't believe I went off track, followed the Audi, and then I got tail whipped by the Audi. Oh, that is some positions I got to make back. Breathe. We can do it. We can do it. Come around this corner. We've already made a move in the Lamborghini and taken that position from them. Coming down this straight as fast as we can. I'm holding it in 4th gear to get better rotation around this corner. And you can see the Audi TT's gone off track, so all is not lost. We're back in P1. The only issue I've got now is that Lamborghini is going to have a lot more power than I have. And surprisingly, they're starting to breathe around the outside, so I'm taking the inside line as tight as I can, braking early down to 3rd gear, and letting the car goes round, and actually going through this corner exceptionally slow. I'm trying to create a bit of a bottleneck behind and pretty much catch him off guard. I know this is a little bit of a weird tactic to make, but as I'm going very slow and I come out the corner, I can really boot it out the corner and create a gap that would, for them, be like, oh my gosh, you know, just catch him out by surprise. That's the idea, and it sort of works. You can't deny that. I've got a good gap. Keeping tight on the white line on the right hand side, we go around this corner, and then we're going to swing it left and go pretty much as straight as we can over these grass curbs here, and then down the other side. Going a little bit too early into this corner, rubbing the grass, but luckily enough, the car is not upset. And down the other side we go. You can see we got a huge lead over the car behind. The Lamborghini is now 1.3 seconds away, which is a substantial lead considering for this car not being as powerful as the rest. Coming round as we start in lap 5, we're looking at a tyre wear. It's actually doing really well. I think we're going to have to pit at the end of the next lap maybe. We're not on minor wear yet, but we're not far off. We are scrubbing the tyres a little bit. I'm still trying to keep that lead away from Squeezo in P2, but we still have that 1.3 second lead, which can be massively eaten up, like I say, if you take the corners not in the optimal manner. Come round here in 4th gear, a little bit slow again. I let the car coast sideways and slow it down far too much than what I should have powered on much earlier. Coming around here in 4th gear, accelerating out to the side. The reason I'm choosing 4th gear now is I'm trying to save a little bit on tyres. It's not the case of I've got to get away. I have a good gap. It's more of a case of trying to make these tyres last a little bit longer so I don't have to pit as early, and hopefully when I go into the pits I can go on a medium set of tyres. But that's the idea behind it, and we'll see if it works. We are now 2 seconds ahead of P2 position, 2.2, 2.3, and it's just climbing and climbing. Coming around here, flat out and down the hill we go. We're looking out for the curb on the right hand side. We're going to go straight over that curb, maximize this corner, and dive right into the start of lap 7 as we exit the pits. As we're exiting these pits though, we do have a 2-second lead still ahead from Squeezy in P2 position. I'm not too sure what happened though, because during lap 6 they was not in P2 position, so I think the person that was in front of them has pitted and they have managed to catch a bit of time. They are 1 second away. I am curious though, they are going to have to pit at some point, unless I don't think they've already pitted because they wouldn't be behind me still, not this close. So I do believe they are on hard tyres and they're probably in a better position than I was, because back at the end of lap 6 I was on minor wear. But they'll probably be on minor wear during this lap and be going on either mediums or soft. I'd be quite surprised if they do go on mediums, softs. I wonder if it'll make it, because I know this track's so hard on tyres. But as we're coming around these corners, we are on medium tyres. I'm still getting used to the actual, quite a good bit of grip difference in it, where I'm turning more in the front end and the back's rotating more, rather than where I could pretty much, you get used to the slide. Now it's more grippy at the front and the tail likes to clip out. So we are making it work though. We are coming down this hill. We are massively gaining on Squeezy in P2 position. We're now 2 seconds ahead. Through that latter section there, we gained 1 whole second. Start of lap 11. We are on our final lap. We skipped a few laps there because nothing really interesting happened, because I just kept gaining away from the car behind. You can see Squeezy now is 9 seconds away. And against the world, I do believe is in the Audi, is 4.3 seconds away. Now my tyres are starting to get quite worn, as they are mediums. They are going to go onto minor wear anytime soon. You can see them half a second down. I've been a bit more cautious, trying to save these tyres a little bit more. There we go, both front tyres are now on minor wear. I don't mind sacrificing a few attempts here and there, providing I can make it to the end of the race. I'd rather make it to the end of the race and sacrifice a second or two during that race that I've got, than to go off track and lose 10 seconds trying to rejoin and destroy my tyres, because out of frustration you're smoking your tyres up to try and get back on the track. But we're going through here now. We're going to tuck in on the right hand side, down into 4th gear, let the car coast around, a little dab of the throttle here and there. We're now 5.4 seconds away from P2 position, keeping the right hand side as much as we can, and then cutting the grass as we go through here, left and right, just cutting that grass very close there to getting a penalty, letting off for this part of the section here, and flat out down this hill we go. And then we're going to hang it right over the curb and over the start and finish line we go. We have a 7.2 second lead from P2 position, and we're finishing P1. Absolutely smashing race. Oh, take that back. So the P2 against the world was in the Chevy C7. My mistake. Where's the Audi gone then? Audi's all the way, yeah, it's all the way down in P8. Wow, that is quite a drop. Anyway, on to the next race. We are at Spa. Now again, I'm back in the Audi, and this time I'm going to do a different strategy again. I want to know roughly if I can get away with hard and then soft tyres. So we're on hard tyres for the beginning part of the race. I didn't qualify again. I started off in P12, but didn't get too bad of a start off the line. Chucking into 3rd gear and trying to reduce that wheel spin. Diving right in, tucking ourselves right in against the wall and trying to stay away from the bumpiness that's going on the outer part of the track. Besides that little bit of bumpiness right there. And luckily enough, I don't get a penalty for being knocked off the track, which is actually quite surprising for Forza. What is also surprising is actually how many GT3 cars are braking through the Eau Rouge. I was not expecting it, but there we go, another car off track, and that's another position gain. We are now in P9. The biggest problem I'm going to have now is you can see the Porsche in my rear view mirror. That Porsche is going to be breathing all over me right now as we're going to hit our braking point in now. Right down to 3rd gear. As we go into the next corner, I'm going to tuck ourselves in behind that Porsche rather than fight for that position back, and then try and pretty much use the latter part of the track where it's more about handling and try and catch up to that Porsche in front. Braking at the curb and left hand side down to 3rd gear. Could really go down to 2nd gear through here and pretty much not go so wide as I did through that latter part of the corner. And then out to the other side, dabbing on the throttle and then touching on the brakes a little bit to get the front end weight to back down, and then flying down this back part here. As we're coming through here, braking down to 4th gear, let the car coast round, and as soon as you're halfway around that corner, I start full throttle on it, and pretty much full throttle all the way around now. You see I'm making a move on the McLaren, I believe that is to my right hand side, braking at the curb, starting down to 3rd gear, and pretty much giving that car space, and then we have a little bit of a collision moment there. Not a problem. I got a warning for it though. Somehow it was my fault by staying on the outer part of the track while I was turning and them having understeer, but it is what it is. Coming out of this corner now, going a bit slow compared to what I normally can do in this car, just because I'm getting held up by the cars in front. I do outhandle them, so it's, you know, you just got to let off. And I'm going to use the back straight for a bit of slipstream, which is not happening. You can see the car still pulling away from me. This car just doesn't have the legs of those cars in front. But this is where I make my ultimate mistake right here and give myself my first penalty. I brake, the car brakes in front, and the car in front out brakes me, and I give them a little nudge up the bottom. I do get my 0.5 second penalty for that one. Totally my fault, and I'm totally sorry for that one. It was definitely unintentional. I didn't mean to rear end you there. And yeah, you definitely outbraked me there. It was quite unexpected that you outbraked me. I got a bit nervous here. I thought they were going to do a bit of retaliation moment, but they didn't. And I would have loved to give them that position back, but with everybody barreling up behind, I would have lost far more places than I would if I just carried on, get on the track. And like I said, they're behind me now. But coming through here, I go through a little bit sloppy sideways, making a right hash of it, looking like a right plum, and losing all my speed. So the McLaren, anyway, if I'm wrong, that is not a McLaren. Honestly, correct me, because I can't see the leaderboard right now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a McLaren. Takes that position and let him have it back. I'm going to keep on my left hand side as we're going through that straight, because I'm just not the fastest and I'd rather just stay out of the way. Anyway, we have the Corvette C8 behind us right now. We're going to look out for the curb and left hand side, braking down to second gear. Get a little bit of a nudge from the Corvette behind, going a little bit wide there, and I'm going to accelerate as early as I can. Rub those tyres because they're hard tyres, they could take it. it doesn't matter. And I accelerate out the other side. You can see I've got an Audi TT again behind the C8, which is absolutely brilliant. So I'm not alone again. Yay. People likes the Audi TT. I don't know. Going through here, really massively gaining on the Corvette C8 behind, just due to the way the car handles. But then again, when we're on the straights, that Corvette's going to be all over me. Anyway, we are catching up to the McLaren in front. They do have a 0.7 second penalty, but they are 1 second ahead, so I've got to catch up that time again. Braking down in third gear, over the curve, going through a little bit slow, going a bit more cautiously to try and break a bit of a gap from the C8 behind. And it's going to come out this corner much quicker than they do. You can see I'm leading upon them, but as we're going through this latter part of the track, they are going to have the power. So I'm going to have to defend like anything going through here. So I'll go back onto the racing line, back to wide. I can take this corner flat out, and I can hear they are having to let off. So that is a huge breaker for me to be able to get away. I'm braking a little bit earlier so I don't go up behind the McLaren again and give them another love tap. I'm pretty sure they won't be happy about it. And that Corvette went into the pits. They must have been on soft tyres if they've gone pitting already. There's really, wow. Okay, so their next strategy is going to be on hard tyres. Okay, yeah, that came to quite a surprise. I wouldn't expect them to be on soft tyres. Anyway, as we're coming down through here, we're going to get into Eau Rouge. I've got a good gap from the car in front, so I'm not going to get any aero wash. And we're going to go through here. We're having to let off, and this letting off is making the car a little bit squirrely. I can take it flat out in this car, funny enough. And I guess, let me know down in the comments below if a GT3 car can do it flat out. I mean the rear wheel drive version car is not the one I've got, because I know I can do it flat out in this one. So I don't know if it's down to lobby skill, or is it generally just everybody lets off through there because it is a very twitchy. Anyway, moving on, coming down this hill, we are still behind that car. Wow, P1 has got a 13-second head lead. Ooh, that is a chunk to find. I don't think I could find that. Anyway, we're coming through here. We are getting held up a little bit. The McLaren is going a little bit slow, so I'm going to start trying to find a way that I can maximize and overtake this car, because I want to get past them so I can start pulling in the cars in front. Braking through here, and I'm going to go the inside now. I'm going to really try and maximize this corner and take that line, and then I can have the optimal line through this next corner. We're going to brake at the curb on the left hand side, down the third gear. I'm going to stay as wide as I can to give that Corvette on my right hand side some space, but I cannot see them in my mirror. I do go through a little bit slow here, catch the Audi behind me off guard, but again, I'm trying to give that Corvette space and not Corvette, Lamborghini space, sorry. Oh, not Lamborghini, McLaren space. We're going through the whole list here, like, you know. The McLaren space, because I don't know their position, and yes, I could put markers on, but where's the fun in that? Anyway, I don't like them. I don't use them. It's a wasted bit of kit for me. I'd rather have a crew chief on the screen where it tells you car to your right, or like a set of Corsa has, things like that, where it's in the screen and shows you their position, not that brown arrow that lights up different colors browns. You know, to me, it's just, it looks terrible, and I just can't pinpoint this for me, just the way I am. And it works for some people, it doesn't work for everybody. And if it's not brown, it's a shade. I just can't be bothered to remember it. Yeah, I turned it off as soon as they made it default on. I turned it straight off as well, just to like to point that one out. I just don't like it. I prefer to having the crew chief telling you where the car is, or at least a visual representation. Not. Anyway, I'm moving on before I keep rambling on about the same boring topic that nobody wants to listen to. We are trying to keep up in the slipstream of the C63 in front and try and get away from the Audi behind me, because obviously me and the Audi is going to be on par of speed, except for they're going to be drawing me in because they have my slipstream. I don't want that. Braking at the 100-meter board, down to third gear, and I'm trying to give the Audi space on the left hand side. Going over the curb we go, keeping far left and then cutting over the curb on the right hand side, accelerating downhill we go, looking out for the curb on the left hand side, braking hard down to second gear. I say second gear, I'm in third gear right now. Second gear is better, and I do figure that out later down the line. But I am in third gear to try and reduce the wheel spin coming out of the corner. So dependent on your gear ratio is dependent on how much wheel spin you are going to have coming out that corner. Coming down this hill, dabble the brakes into 4th gear, let the car coast around halfway around the corner, start accelerating, and you're flat out through the back part of this corner and out the other side. Going to keep left, try and make a move on the C63 to my right hand side, braking at the curb, starting down the 3rd gear, and I'll let them take that position again because I know it's a big old car and I don't want to be punted off track because that thing would destroy me. Like, you know, it's like getting hit by a bus compared to what I'm driving. Anyway, you can see I am catching up to them, trying to make a move. I do have, I think it's a Dodge in my rear view mirror that's also trying to make a move upon me. But lucky enough, we managed to break away from that Dodge, and we are keeping up with the person in front who has a, wow, it's a 4.7 second penalty. That is quite the penalty you got there, sir. Quite the penalty. And I don't know what that break was about. Yeah. That could be why they got the penalties. Lucky enough, I managed to outbrake them. Anyway, I was going to try and make a move here, but I decided I'd better go into the pits because I discovered I have medium wear on my tyres. Whilst I'm going into the pits, the Dodge Viper does give me a little nudge at the bottom and says, you know, I also have a 3.35 second penalty. Don't forget about me. Yeah. I didn't forget about you. Coming out of the pits on the other side, we do have a set of soft tyres on the go, and we're going to try and make a way from the Dodge Viper behind me. It's not going to happen. That Dodge Viper is much quicker than me, so I'm going to keep to my left hand side, hug that white line and let them take that position, and I pretty much use their slipstream to gain a bit more power. Again, I am a soft tyre, so I can brake a little bit later, but I don't massively utilize these soft tyres too much. You can see I'm getting a lot more front end grip. That's letting the back end slide out a little bit more. It's costing me time here, so I've got to try and find my rhythm again on these new set of freshly cut tyres. Coming around this corner now, we are in 3rd gear. Like again, I'm choosing to reduce that wheel spin coming out of the corner, but like I say, it all depends on the ratio you are using at this time. As we're coming down this hill, we want to look on your left hand side for the curb to start. Just about a car length a bit before that, dabble the brakes down into 4th gear, let the car go around. I accelerate a little bit too early, and I go off track and give myself another 0.5 second penalty. And do you know what? Guess what? The car behind didn't get one. They went further off the track than I did. I mean, how fair is that? I was like, you know, a couple of meters away from the line, and they were about 3 or 4 miles away from the line, and they got away with it. I can't see why. I don't. Fine, be like that. Moving on to the start of the last lap. Now we are in P5 position. I know we was in P6 before the Dodge Viper. Well, with the Dodge Viper behind us, but something weird happened. It never said nobody left the game. I never overtook anybody. So they must have just disconnected or whatever happened, but you know, it's a position game. We're in P5. We do have quite a lead from the Dodge Viper behind us, which has got a 3.1 second we are away from that car. And this is where now I'm starting to discover I should have gone on to medium tyres. You can see right now, start of lap 7, we are on minor wear. And that is only going to get worse very quickly. So right now, I'm going to really try and save these tyres. You can hear me trying not to scrub these tyres, taking these corners like a beautiful butterfly. Is that the right analogy? I don't know. I'm just taking it as smooth as I can. Alright, I'm not braking as smooth as I could, but I'm trying to reduce the wheel spin, letting the car coast round more, and then gently applying the power, coming out the corners and accelerating down the hills. And I'm really trying to save the tyres. Now we're on moderate wear. Oh no. It's only going to get slipperier and slippier. But we do have that 3 second lead and a 3 second penalty that car has as well. Our problem is I can't see in the leaderboard how close the car behind that person is. So I don't want to take my chances and let them catch up and then lose 2 positions. Well, it'll be 1 position still, but to another car that I can't actually see on the leaderboard. Anyway, I got a pixel over the grass here, and thank you to the Forza Lords. I don't get a penalty for that one. Surprisingly, honestly, that is a corner I 99% of the time get a penalty right there. So for me not to get a penalty is a big deal. So I guess Forza's letting me off this time around with what happened on the last 2 incidences I had. So I can only thank the Forza stewards for that one. Going to brake earlier at this corner now as we're entering the bus stop down the 2nd gear. You see that both tyres are really cooked now. I'm going to come out of this corner. You can see that P6 is right up behind me. I'm just going to burn it out of this corner. We'll spin the life out of this car and just try and claw back that few attempts there. Overall, come P5 position. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.